So that's why so much. I don't want to say it's more than because once you're done with that, once you get it, it's you're ready to be able to decide for their address. You can go back, but if you change it there, that's the exception with
It's too much money for small businesses.
So you're ready to go yeah. That's just my other thing is that it's actually the second. It's actually a buddy from my yeah, it was one of my yesterday. It was just something middle school or something like that. And 3/4 of
Well, I sent it once, I'll send it again tomorrow, and I'll see you.
I'm sure that he was yeah, it was not good. They will work. I sit in the shower. I would say doing work, water, whatever. Then you know, yeah, Special move on this side. For this regular meeting of the Commercial Borough Council is concluded. We listen to the pledge of allegiance, please. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, please join me in a moment of silence in memory of the 21st anniversary of 9/11, which was yesterday. Thank you. This meeting is being held in compliance with New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act and advertised in retrospect in the bulletin board downstairs and to all official borough social media channels. I ask for those of you in attendance that if you have a cell phone, please put it on silent. If you need to speak with others while council is conducting business, as you do so outside of council chambers. Roll call, please.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Present.
Mr. McLean.
Here.
Mr. Morales. Here. Mr. Curnow. Mr. Sperazza.
Here.
Mr. Woods. You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. First item on the agenda this evening is the public portion of the meeting. Anyone wishing to speak on any topic, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Denise Meisner.
One forward to the microphone, please.
Tisha Meisner, 119 North Center Street. And I would like to address the process of how to use, when you fill out the form, to use the borough property. I did that, and I felt like it was like some obstacles that I had to overcome that could have easily been dealt with. If it was a better streamlined system to when you request to use property. I did feel like some of the issues I had were personal. I did also believe that, well, I know for a fact that some of my event that was questioned was similar to other events that were held here by other businesses here, and they didn't have the same requirements that was put on me. So I would just feel like the process needs to be easier and not calling Andy out. But if I hadn't spoken to Andy, I would have never known what issues there were, what I needed to do, and that type of thing. So I think that really needs to be addressed. And when I drop off the application for use, I think comments should be made, smirks given, and that type of stuff. So I just want to address that.
Thank you. I will say that we are introducing an ordinance this evening to try and deal with how more equitably deal with how we manage our open space here, public space in the borough. And we do recognize that some of the applications, and I'm familiar with your recent applications, but some other ones, we're sort of dealing with them not on equal footing. And that's not to say that we dealt with yours better or worse, just that we're not approaching them from a consistent perspective. And I think it's only fair to everybody that we do so. So we're trying to clean a little bit of that. I appreciate your comments on that. And we certainly want to be better. I know that we have invested in the system to try and streamline that process so that it's done, so you don't even have to come here, that all the documents can be uploaded online, that you can get your approvals. And a couple of years ago, I'd say a couple, I feel like I've been sitting as chair for longer than a couple at this point, but a few years ago, we did streamline the process to allow staff to make the decision on some of these requests without having to come to council. So it's time to refresh that clearly, and I appreciate your comments.
Hi, Nicole Mervin at the studio. Just in reference to that too, I don't think a lot of the businesses even knew that was going on, and it was in front of particular businesses, I think, right at the station or whatever, and she had no clue that event was even happening. And it's like, I think as a business association, if it's gonna be in part of our property, like by our properties or by the streets, like we should get a little bit of a heads up so they can prepare for their customers or know that they can do something special that day or anything like that. Like, I don't know if there's any communication specifically, but I believe Nicole said she had no idea that was even going on, what that entailed, what kind of things were happening, like, are there gonna be food trucks in her parking lot or not? Are they gonna be on the street? Is the street gonna be closed? We weren't really provided any information on that event. We just all of a sudden saw a Facebook post that something was happening that weekend. And about consistency, I did wanna ask, this is something, I don't know if we ever brought it up with you, Sean, before or not, I don't remember. We, in talking with each other, realized there seemed to be inconsistencies with the fire code coming or the fire inspections that happen, I think, once a year, they're supposed to happen. Is that a thing, right? Okay, well, some of us feel like there's difference in pricing, we don't know if that's per building or whatever, but some businesses said they were getting charged $85 every year, some are only getting charged $35. And then like Nicole's building, for example, she had her whole building looked at, inspected, and then the guy who's in the smaller part also had to pay a fee, even though she had that inspected already under her fee. So is it like per business, per building? Like, I would like to know if there's a written anything on that, like explaining what it's supposed to cost, when it's supposed to happen, what qualifies for it, and if even the ones that don't have businesses in it are still getting fire inspections every year too, because that's still a building, right? Like, shouldn't they be getting inspections done? And I feel like that's probably fallen to the wayside maybe, and no one's going in there.
I don't believe that, Nicole, those are uniform statutory fees that are not set by the borough, they're set by the state of New Jersey, and so those standards are not merchantable standards. It's a uniform fire code for the state of New Jersey, so, I don't know specifically what you're talking about, and I can't recite it word for word,
Right.
but I do understand, and, my hope is that, some of that information will be more readily available on our website.
So the merch board doesn't do it, if someone else comes up?
We do,
Okay.
through our fire marshal and our fire inspectors who are certified through the state program.
Okay.
But we don't set the fees, we don't set the code that they, judge and go by when they're performing those inspections.
I would just like to know what it is, just
It's
to.
all in fire code, all the fees are listed, per business different, it's lists everything from the size of the unit of the building, the whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4 floors.
On borough or?
Yeah, the Borough Council's Fire Prevention Chapter 29 ordinance, it lists all the fees and all of the base and what they're based upon. Size of the building.
And those fees are reflected in the state law.
From-
Right, we just adopted
Yeah.
the state's
Okay.
model, we don't change that.
So it's similar to the amount of like chairs that a restaurant can have, you don't set that, that's all set by federal and state mandate. All we do is do the measurement, tell them this is what state defense says we can have, but we're the agent that lets them know that that's what the code states.
No, obviously didn't look, but just to clarify, like, so if things like Nicole or Ryan's, like, is that considered one building by the borough? Or not, because then is it different? Because I don't think the photographer that used to be there ever, she wasn't even on the register for apparently a while. So it's like there's just discrepancies throughout the town with things, I feel like a lot of times, like Ryan had a business in there and she wasn't even registered for like 2 years as a business apparently. So was she even getting fees or anything like some of the other ones, like Nicole had her business and made sure everything was up to whatever the rules are and stuff like that. So it's just, how are these things being monitored and tracked of? Like, are we supposed to rat out people? Like, I don't wanna build that animosity between our businesses and be like, hey, so-and-so's not doing this and so-and-so's not doing that, but what else are we supposed to do?
So but that does occur, so the state fire marshal comes out and audit us at any time. And so because you don't want fire standards different from this municipality, because that could create a whole other, hey, come to our town, we don't have these fire restrictions.
Right.
So what we could actually happen is our fire marshal can actually get audited by the state fire marshal and will actually go through, they'll do their own random assessments as well. To
Okay,
make sure it's up to fire, so that is on at the state level.
You would be amazed at the amount of violations that we become aware of that are only because we've been told by other people that violations are occurring. We certainly don't have the resources or staff to be around out of town checking everybody, random check-in type of stuff. If the violations are there on the annual visit, then we pick them up. And we're getting outside of just maybe fire violations, we're talking about all other types of violations that occur. It's not just limited to businesses, I can assure you
Yeah.
that too. So, you know, I hate to say that it's a community effort to some extent, and if we all, the business community or the residential community or the community at large, expects and wants to protect the people, so wants to make sure that the business that's next door to yours is abiding by the fire code, because if they're not, and they have a fire, it's gonna impact your business, right? And that doesn't mean, I don't want you going around, you know, you or any business going around being the secret fire inspector. But at the same time, if you see violations or you're aware of them, you can anonymously report them.
So, like, who should that, like,
Feedback.
Yeah, the fire marshal, and he can anonymously, you know, accept that tip. It doesn't, he's not gonna take down who made the claim and those sorts of things. If there was an instance where you had to prosecute it in court, you may be called as a witness, but only if you actually follow the complaint. And if you're not going to do that, if you're providing a tip, that's a different situation.
And oftentimes I hear criticism, I know we had one business at one point criticized where we'll try to work with the business, give 30 days, if it's not a serious violation, there's different degrees. So lots of 30 days, and if you come back in those 30 days and other violations are found, that's what results in another 30 days, corrective measures. Sometimes you'll hear criticisms that we've been out to 3 times, why have we been out to 3 times? Well, that's because the subsequent visit had another violation.
okay, I mean, and for future, I think it's been in the talks of talking about some sort of welcome basket and stuff for businesses and whatnot. Like these things, like when I came, I had no idea they existed or happened. It's like things randomly are like, oh, here you have to do a fire inspection and this and that. Like those things I think are important, like to get them out soon. And if that can be something that's really focused on like letting us know when, like I don't know when trash day was. I found out because I saw my neighbor putting trash out, you know, like all those little things that not everyone has maybe the confidence to talk to other business owners or ask those questions. So when you come new, it's like you have no idea. Like like with like even with certain ordinances and stuff, like when I came here, it was like, okay, I figure it's like a house, I'm allowed to, you know, maybe decorate it, do whatever I want, and changing the building, I'm gonna get a permit. I never would have thought this whole thing with signs would have even happened, because I didn't realize that was gonna be such a big thing, you know, I'm a business owner, and I went to school for psychology, not business, so it's like, I didn't think about these things.
They don't
and
teach that in business management either. so-
probably not, so it's like, I don't know, I mean, maybe I'm naive, maybe whatever, but I think a lot of business owners are in the same boat, not realizing like, oh, we can't paint our building or do certain things because there's certain rules here. So all that information would be great to have in the very beginning, and things maybe not get violated as often or whatever if we knew this stuff as soon as we moved in.
I think that could be like a great opportunity for the Business Professional Association to work together to create sort of that framework for what that means, because when new businesses are coming in, most times they're coming to either Rebecca or Denise,
Yeah.
right? They're becoming aware of it before anybody else. So it might be a great opportunity, once those applications are filed, they work with Sean as the liaison business professional. And I know Nicole, that you're heavily involved with that, and Adrian, and sort of we get together and say, okay, let's have a meet and greet with that business for 15 minutes and say, here's some things, and here's a welcome. I'd be happy to work with you guys and see if we can put something like that together. I know we've been in the talks.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot for one person to try and like
Yeah.
take the initiative on. So maybe a collective effort to say, look, when we know new business is coming, okay, let's sit down, let's schedule a meeting, or maybe even 15 minutes every, once a month, we say, okay, here are the new business applications, here's contact information, let's sit down and talk about it.
Okay.
And given Zoom and everything, we can probably do a lot of stuff digitally, and it won't take a lot of time for travel and coming together.
Denise and I, we did do an initial startup, if you remember that, but that was the month before I got COVID.
Great,
And
exactly.
it just, it was one of those things where the initial meeting did take place, we did have a few volunteers, and then when just life happened and it kind of fell by the wayside, we can start that back.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're just bringing it up to kind of get it going. All right, thanks.
Any other members of the public wish to speak on any topic? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public portion of the the meeting. And we'll move on to the public hearing on ordinance 22-12, the capital budget. Anyone wishing to come speak on the capital budget ordinance 22-12, please step forward, state your name and address for the record. Seeing and hearing none, we will close the public hearing on ordinance 22-12, and we'll move into adoption of ordinance 22-12 capital budget. I'll send the motion to introduce adoption. First, second, Mr. Brouse, any discussion on this ordinance? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Mr. McLeod.
Yes.
Ms. Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Brouse.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We move on to the next item on our agenda, it's the engineer's report. Mr. Lees, good evening.
Good evening, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as the last meeting, we were able to rectify our electrical issues with Glenwood, have our electrical permit in hand. Contractor was on site today for the framing. The schedule is to start the new order by the end of this week, with the heavy construction start next week. Talked to the contractor about putting notices for the residents out, as within the next day or two, and I'll follow up with Denise to, I guess, do an email, blast with an updated schedule as well, so the residents can get that at the same time.
Yeah, email blast, social media, work with Rebecca, make sure that we do something, so the public at large is aware that, you know, there's going to be work going on.
Yeah, the plan or the anticipation would be by the end of next week, we'll begin the following week, that everything will be done.
Great. All right, what else is going on?
We have a walkthrough scheduled tomorrow in West Walnut, so the scope for the fiscal year 2022 finished blade river project. We'll review quantities, and scope under the budget. Once that's complete, we'll make any revisions necessary, get a copy back to the borough, to DOT, for approval, and then we'll get that out.
And I saw that you provided certification to North Center Street, 222 for options.
Yeah,
Deviations.
There's a matrix listed based on the funding opportunity versus the requirements of the property, so it's something we can discuss and see what works best for our property.
It's something that we want to take on. Not a property that we own already, and in fact, I think the only right we have to be taxed on is on full coverage, right? There's a ton of environmental remediations. It's next to Toriana East on Center Street. So, okay. Anything else of note?
DPW building roof, the majority of the roofing has been done, we're just waiting for that right now. They said they will within probably a week to 2 weeks to get that done. Another word, stuff will get the better work. So probably within the next couple weeks that we finish as well.
And if the material that we took off the roof is going to be viable to use for any of those housing projects or.
I know that the public works is a good portion of the gravel that was up there.
Okay.
And shot by so yes.
Perfect.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Lees? Forward to the funding project. Get moving. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Correspondence, any correspondence? Okay, we'll move on and we'll move to council. Ms. Morales, we'll start with you. Good evening.
I'm going to send you over for the borough of August is $5,926.61. Cases added for 298, 264 cases closed. I have an update from the Regional Diversity Committee. There's another person that is interested in being part of our committee, attorney Gaskins. And have a phone number I can share it with you later. I think I gave you 2 names of two people that were interested last week.
Yeah, please share that with me and I'll be scheduling discussions for that. Do not have that discussion. Perfect. Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Brouse? Mr. Fitzgerald.
Nothing really to report on this one,
Ross?
My report short as well, because Chief Patty just returned yesterday, so.
Today? No.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I saw pictures that he flew in.
No, yeah, he's,
But he's not in.
but
No, he's not.
well, he's returned on this trip, sorry.
So the last time I spoke with him, we did bring someone on, a deputy code enforcement officer, let's go through that, so that's where we're at with the month of August. This is fine.
Very good. Questions for Mr. Brouse? Mr. McClune?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. Marshall Police for the month of August, 1,165 incidents, 178 traffic summonses, 114 parking tickets, 14 arrests, and 2 DWI arrests. Couple things that Chief Brouse wishes to share with council. First, on both August 19th and August 26th, 5 members of the Marshall Police Department did participate, attend an active shooter drill over the Pennsauken School. And again, these trainings are mandatory and required, unfortunately, in this day and age. Out of those 1,165 incidents, 83 are the officer-initiated positive engagements with members of the community. Chief Brouse does want to thank everyone who came out to National Night Out at the beginning of August. Special thanks to Denise Ms. Patty Fields, and Ms. Rehan for their assistance that night. And last but not least, for the partnership with the American Legion Post 68. Chief Brouse also wants to share commendations recently given to Patrolman Moreau and Patrolman Rigo Buda. There was a concerning incident on August 15th with an individual that was armed with a knife, and probably was not in the best mental health. Patrolman Rigo Buda was able to incapacitate the subject with the conducted energy device, which I assume is a taser. He was able to address the situation and prevent no harm to the individual or in that area.
Expect that's our first set of taser deployment.
That's the first one I reported in 4 years, probably.
Yes.
So that might have been one too. And then lastly, we're aware there's been a lot of chatter, discussion about that parking lot between the old Rite Aid, the Monkey, how that's used as a cut through. There were a couple complaints that came to the individual council. All respect, Mr. Ernest, and then they not mention his name. But long story short, there's a bit of an issue because of that setup at the intersection where that's blocked off. There's really not a traffic device there, a stop sign or a traffic light. And the way that the road wall works, I was thinking about that on a second. Title 39, it's the avoidance of a traffic device or signal, which would be that ticket for cutting through that particular parking lot. So that's why tickets have not been issued. We are discussing the installation of a sign that, again, would discourage individuals to use it and would represent a traffic device that if we elect to enforce in that manner, we would be able to do so and consistent with the law.
That's
So ready to tell them that
That was very good. You need a predicate for it, right? You take predicate as traffic control device. So the installation of traffic control device on only a sign would something like that.
Can't be considered trespassing?
Now, because it's not our property. And that's
unless the new owners
No,
are
right.
right.
They would have to enforce it. Can we put a note first? Can we, go through traffic? Can we just adopt that by resolution?
It doesn't have to be that large.
So we just put it up,
Our intention is to put a sign there, yes. Long
so we're
story.
gonna put stop sign through traffic. both.
They do traffic. I put it there and something.
I thought there was a sign there already.
At the one section for.
There was, yeah. Because I was gonna say, there's also one at the other end of the street that says dead ends, does that fall with that? But there's banners that were out there forever.
Do we
we put a permanent attendance on that?
I know there used to be Greenwood Essex was, and there was also one also at the.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter what happened before, and we're going forward at this point, so let's do whatever we have to do to enforce it.
So I have one more bonus report tonight, we're a little short on reports. We had a sort of year-end meeting for parks and playgrounds. Patty Fields and Councilman Brouse, we met at the end of August. Overall, again, while still fresh in our minds, I think 2022 was a very successful year. I thought the leadership, Mrs. Fields and Mrs. Brouse was phenomenal. One of the things that we do want to consider about next year, again, don't have to do it now, is perhaps looking to increase the fees. It is becoming a more expensive program to run. The wages for the counselors themselves, some of the increases in minimum wage is increasing exponentially year over year. Again, it's $200 currently for a borough residence. That's about $40 per week. It's really tough to find that childcare for 5 days for $40 a week. So
It's possible.
it's impossible, but so again, something suggests perhaps going from 200 to 250. Still having the discounts for siblings, but I think that's something to do. We did run a deficit this year, unfortunately. I think Ms. Knowles has some things we can do to balance the books, but we can't do that again. So next year, just remember, when it comes March, April, and discussing this, we have to do a little bit better job of financial stewardship. The leadership did express some concerns, perhaps some of the storage plans of public works in the near future. So we'd like to have a meeting with Evan after the fact. Again, we won't go into too much details there, but they did want to make that known. Also, a desire to improve communication systems. There's a sense that using email blasts, that people don't do their email as much as they used to. So if there's some type of text message technology out there that we don't have something. So. Okay.
We
already have.
I don't think we're utilizing it for this stuff. Yeah.
So that system exists, we just need to begin.
As long as it's above JP, we're good with it.
If it's not.
Yeah, fantastic. There is a concern of a dead tree. We have a little playground, the community gardens, and then some other things. It's probably time to get some more sports equipment. I don't think they've replenished the sports equipment over the years. There's a desire to mulch the area where the smaller playground equipment is. I don't think that's been mulched in some time now. And perhaps something we want to look at, think about some of that sun shade that we see at some of the playgrounds that can help keep the campus cool. It was a very hot summer for those kids. So I tried to put this in the drive, but I couldn't do it. Denise, I'll be honest with you, but I'll submit this physical copy so we have it when we talk about it again in 2023.
We should be ready with any recommendations at the very beginning of 2023 for increasing rates, because when we go through the budget process, we have to be aware of what those are. And also the increased costs. We need to budget appropriately.
Okay, that is in the report set out. The recommendations and the numbers.
We have an idea without preliminary numbers of how much we're in deficit, or this percentage was.
Denise gave me a number of the last council meetings when it's.
I think it was 10%, close to 2%.
That's what we can do. I think it was right. I think it was around $2,200.
There's an opportunity there.
No, 2,000, it was at least what it was. We moved it from public events.
To the couple that was it. What we talked about next year, certainly, we want to hit that budget. Do whatever it is. This is all I have. Perfect. Any questions for Mr. McCool? Great. Clerk's report. Community development.
I also have things to report.
CFO's not here. Old business, the only thing I will say, Ginseng LLC, which we had issued a letter of support for, received their conditional approval on Friday. And so they will be moving forward, and hopefully submitting their conditional use application for the joint land use board in short order and beginning rehabbing and remodeling the old writing facility. So that's the adult use recreational cannabis group that we have issued a letter of support. There's also another group we have not issued a formal letter of support of that had proposed Mercantile as a potential location. Also, I think was approved on Friday. I got an email about it. I don't know anything about them. I didn't receive any correspondence, so we trust.
You don't have to have an address.
They're
Yeah,
just,
something-
you can secure it. It's different than it was for the medical where you need to have the property really locked down. For this, you just need to have a location, emerging marquee locations. This other group is looking, so
So there's some conditional licenses, it's saying now that
there's
will
about,
probably be ghost licenses that exist.
yeah, there are about 1,000
How many is that took?
issued,
Yeah, I've heard hundreds of it.
maybe not 1,000, probably 500. So, but the one group that met with council, I believe, was in February of 22, and had received support. We issued a letter of support. They did receive their conditional license there.
We will need to revisit our ordinance for other aspects that we weren't contemplated originally.
That we reserved until such time.
Yeah.
You're right. And I think we have to begin to look at that now that they've received their license. So as I recall at the time, they were looking at the September time period is when they thought that they would receive their license and begin. And they thought maybe by February they'd be operational. I believe that's what they said. So here we are, and they appear to be on time. Although they were disappointed because they thought they were going to receive it last month, they did not. So whatever. That's moving forward. And on the downtown redevelopment stuff, the lease that was authorized. I do know that permits have been or will be submitted any day for the construction or the repair of the roof at the bank building. I had a conversation today about a storage trailer for salvaging certain items that are in the bank that they want to keep and potentially use in the restaurant. So that will probably be a long drive-through area. I did speak with Chief Patty today and asked, I said, put on every hat you wear. The code, fire, and EDW, and he's comfortable with that location.
So that much stuff in there?
All of the, in the basement, all of the beautiful chests and wood chests, they want to keep all of that, the entire tellers area, they want to take the entire countertop. So it's gonna be like a tractor trailer.
Yeah, I didn't realize that much stuff in there.
So they, in their minds, they want to salvage a lot of that stuff and potentially use it, so it's more power to them.
Whatever, please go there.
Correct. So they, but they will not be putting anything there until after the music fest. So not, just so that they're not running into issues there. And those are the only major items that I have to report on the old business. Are there any other old business items? Sign ordinance was not reviewed by the joint land use board yet. It was referred to them. They did not have a second meeting in August, so they will have a second meeting in September, and it will be on for the October meeting. That's the earliest we can get it. And there was a miscommunication about the need for them, that, zoning ordinance, they have to opine on it, it has to be referred to them. The response that they initially provided was, well, we already looked at this and gave you our thoughts, informally, so,
That was miscommunication, but it will be on for the October meeting. It will be on for adoption and public hearing at the October meeting. All right? I don't have any other old business. No new business this evening. Well, I was gonna ask about the SDL. I don't know if you can give an update on that in terms of when it will be public facing, but when will be the situation where that program and the public will be able to utilize it? Because right now.
Should be by the next. We
Okay.
have a final call, with, customer support with SDL is scheduled for Tuesday morning, and that's the last step for launching the portal on the website.
Okay,
So, following that, we should hopefully be ready to go.
and then we got, I guess.
Yes, once we get it on there and we test it and try it out and see how everything's coming in and we feel comfortable with it.
Yes, we're working on it, login, and we've been working on it internally. So
Okay.
internally, there's been code construction, reports and work orders, things like that we've done internally, but it's not completely done.
Let's get it live.
Yeah.
We purchased this in January.
Yeah, we haven't had it live.
I know,
We
I'm
haven't
just
had-
saying, we authorized this a while, so let's do it right, let's get it going.
Been a lot of back and forth with their customer support. It's, so,
Okay, good,
we're there.
perfect. All right, I have a number of resolutions on the agenda this evening. Does anybody want any of these resolutions to be pulled out of the consent agenda? I'm hearing none, we'll move forward with resolutions to be read by consent agenda, resolution 22-99, approved travel license for Grace Church. Resolution 22-100, approved 50/50 license for Grace Church. Resolution 22-101, cancel grant balances. Resolution 22-102, authorization to award contract for Candy Co-op for sodium chloride. Resolution 22-103, authorization to renew 3-year agreement with Candy Chemicals Joint Insurance Fund. Resolution 22-104, approved payment number 1 for DPW roof replacement to Sky General Construction
And
LLC, and number 2 as amended on the fly. Resolution 22-105, amending chapter 19 curfew for 2022 and renaming the borough for the month of October. Resolution 22-16, chapter 159, special items of revenue. Resolution 22-107, refund of the construction permit. Or a motion to move those. So, second. First, Mr. McClune, second, Mr. Fitzgerald. Roll call, please.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Ms. Morales. Yes. Mr. Correct.
Yes. We have an ordinance for introduction, the first reading this evening. This ordinance will be considered for adoption, public hearing be held during the September 26th council meeting. This ordinance 22-13, amending chapter 53 parks. This is part of our attempts to clean up and clarify our public spaces, and the first step in trying to get those processes in order so that we can streamline them. So, do I have a motion to introduce that ordinance 20-13?
So,
First, Mr. Fitzgerald. Second. Sure.
Says the park and Martinez Community Center are restricted and should be unlawful for any citizen to enter or repeat or meeting on the grounds of Baldwin's Park. It would virtual please. Between 5 p.m. and 8 a.m. Yeah, 8 a.m. Well, that's summer, when 5 p.m. is summer.
I have trouble reading that, so.
I believe that's 8 p.m. to 8 a.m.
I think it says dawn to dusk,
Right. That's
That's what I've always seen out.
It's not what it is. Minor revisions like that, we can change between now and September 20. We're not adopting this, it's just introducing. So I'm just seeing.
and actually, that's the actual ordinance that's on the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to clean that up, I just have to.
That's confusing me.
Yeah, I mean, it could be decent. But otherwise.
Second on the motion. Ms. Brouse, okay. Roll call.
Mr.
Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Mr. McLean.
No.
Ms. Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Scrivens.
Yes.
Okay. If there are revisions that the council would like to see, please speak up before the next meeting. That would be great for consideration. Financial, reports, resolution 22-108. Mr. McLean, you want to take this one?
I'd like to introduce resolution 22-108 that lists total expenditures of $371,150.55. Where should I use expenditures? The number was what she wrote. 371.
Want to make sure you. Okay.
Thank you. We have the first and the second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Aye.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Ms. Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Scrivens.
Yes.
And announcements?
Just, if anyone is interested in attending the League of Municipalities in November, then we just ask if you want to register this, okay?
The prices go down, I saw that today.
It seems, yeah, it's like $60.
$60, was it like $250?
Well, no.
No, this is like 65.
Yeah, but there's also a late fee, you know.
Yeah, the late registration.
Later and earlier, so later that, but just send me a text so I make sure to get you on this, all right? That's all I have.
Okay, Music Fest 24th. Come on out that day. I know the group has been working hard. Anything else? Any other announcements? No, I guess we will. On 26th. I'll accept the motion to adjourn. Second, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Very much, everybody.
My pleasure.
That's why.
You didn't know that?